Okay, we are now live.
All
Here we
right.
go. Here we go. All right. So I believe we're live here now.
All right.
Yeah, we're live.
It says
All
recording.
right. All right. How's it going, my machinery hunters? Well, today here we have a special guest, Daniel Diaz from Small Business Lending Source, and also a machinery hunter. And today, this message goes out today. If you're watching us here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you're at, make sure you share this. Make sure you you give us comments. Make sure you also, if you have questions, make sure you write in the comments below. You send us an inbox wherever you're at, because ultimately this conversation today, this interview today, is a very important message that we have from professional Daniel Diaz from the lending industry. He is a veteran in the lending industry, and as the markets are changing, as uncertain times arise, right now is the time to really grab a hold of these mentors, because it's during these times that we need to leverage the opportunities. And Daniel Diaz today, we're going to go ahead and get some insights from him today about the lending world in the heavy equipment industry. Now, Daniel Diaz, he's going to get into it right now as far as, because he does heavy equipment lending, truck lending, all the type of what the hunters are in, the equipment that we move, but he also does many other types of loans. So, okay, Daniel Diaz, go ahead, introduce yourself. Let us know what your business is all about. How long have you been in it? Just give us an intro to your business, Daniel, and by yourself. Give us a bit about your background.
All right. Yeah. So, yeah, I've actually started in the business lending space in 2013. Initially we were focused on, just kind of, subprime type loans. And then we transitioned into SBA, Express. And then, from there we moved into, heavy machinery, equipment. So we can do, anything from trucks to, forklifts, whatever the piece of equipment is, from credit down to, 520 on up. So we pretty much work with, just about everybody and anybody out there that's looking to either jump in and purchase something new, or if they're looking for a used model. So as for myself, I'm from San Diego, California. Before this, I was actually in the student lending space, so had another business here in San Diego. So it was, kind of an easier transition when that market kind of like dropped off completely. I was able to, transition into, decided to jump in the business lending space, and, here it is, 2020. Years later, I'm still doing it, and everything's going strong regardless of how the economy, is right now. So.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, Daniel. I mean, we were on the phone the other day. You were telling me about some situations. What's the shift happening right now, especially now 2020, but now right now with the coronavirus? What are you seeing? What's the shift in the lending market, and what can we give to the consumers out there that are speculating whether or not to get into the loans, or give us a little bit of insight on that.
Yeah, definitely lending's tightened up, on the non-collateralized side. So that's, if somebody's looking for a business loan right now, SBA route, SBA Express route, definitely it's a little tighter. If, some of the hard, I wouldn't say hard money, it's more of a lending products for somebody with more challenged credit and non-collateralized, definitely that market's tight. However, and when it comes to actually equipment, I've actually seen an increase in people financing equipment. Equipment's still going strong. I mean, you have the equipment most of the time can be used as collateral. So equipment, it's still going great if you're looking to make that purchase. It's actually a lot of people that are selling the equipment, they're selling it at a, somewhat of a discount now. So if you are looking for equipment, it's definitely now's the time to jump in. Another hot product right now is equipment leaseback. So we're getting a lot of companies who have collateral, and they're waiting on the government to either come in with some type of product to help them out. In the meantime, though, what they can do or what they're doing is they're coming to me and they're using that collateral, and typically they can get anywhere from 50 to 60% of the actual value within 48 to 72 hours. So So actually, equipment's actually it's a great product to financing that is to be in right now. And for the consumer, if they're looking to make that purchase, it's definitely now's the time because there's a lot of great deals out there.
Okay. And you mentioned something about right now, like as far as because you told me about a case of one lender dropping out, and then you were able to get the client into with another lender, and something about the credit score.
Right.
How is that right now? I mean, are lenders being tied with like the credit scores, or is that not is that something you're willing you work with that you work based off on each individual client, or how's that right now?
Yeah, I mean, in regards to the non-collateralized side, it's definitely lenders are really looking at, they are looking at credit right now. So, somebody with, a couple dings on their credit, it's definitely going to get, be harder for them if they don't have any form of collateral to get financing. When it comes to equipment, though, I mean, it's a lot different. You're purchasing a piece of equipment, and it's a lot easier for a lender to feel secure knowing that if this person, regardless if they don't make the payment, they just obviously they're going to take the piece of equipment back. So, in the individual case that we ran over, it was a matter of the actual years of the vehicle. For whatever reason, a lender actually approved him for a forklift. It was like 70,000, and then within from one day to the next, basically said, oh, we don't want to. We're not going to go that far back. It was literally like 1 year. And I was able to take that same, guy and send him over to somebody else, and he was approved, within 24 hours. So yeah, it ended up turning out, great for him. So.
Okay, nice. And how does it work? I mean, do you work all 50 states, or is it just certain states, or how does your service extend to?
Yeah, no, we actually work nationwide. So the good thing about working with somebody like us is more or less, when you go into, let's say you're buying a forklift from your local, dealer down the street. And a lot of times, they have overhead, they have sales reps. The sales reps are incentivized to, kind of push, steer them towards a certain company, because there's always, there's kickbacks from the lenders when they do that. With us, since we work nationwide, we don't work, when we get paid, we actually get paid by the actual lender itself. There's no incentive, there's really no overhead on our part. So we're going to go out and we're going to get like the best rate for somebody, compared to them getting pushed into a high-end lease, 50-60%. We're able to get the same client. I've seen it happen time and time again. Client comes to us, and the dealership was trying to push them into this horrible lease, that when they calculate the actual rate itself, it's like 50-60%, and I was able to turn around and get the guy 5 or 6%. So it's just the way, unfortunately, it's the way way it is a lot of times at these dealerships.
So ultimately, within the lending space, you're also like us, the hunters, as far as analyzing the market to see which are the best options that suits the client's needs ultimately.
Definitely.
Not trying just to shove a certain type of equipment that suits someone's interest. It's more about finding the best option and saving them the most amount of money, because that scenario that you just gave right now, I mean, how much money would that client save in the long run? I mean, it's huge amounts of money, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the whole business, just like, the machinery hunters, it's more of, I'm building a relationship with the client. There's other products that we offer, credit lines, SB Express loans. I mean, there's, factoring, obviously other pieces of equipment that we're hoping to finance for the customer in the future. So, there's no way I'm going to, push somebody into something that doesn't make sense just, for that one time, deal, like a lot of these dealerships do, when I can, create that relationship, and, hopefully we build a relationship to where they're always coming back to me for any other financing for equipment or general financing needs in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And have you dealt with clients that are looking to buy at an auction, and you get them maybe like pre-approved? How does it work with the auctions now? Have you dealt with those type of clients?
Yeah. So what I do is, because a lot of times we'll find pieces of equipment for somebody, and this is like, just happened maybe a week ago. It happens all the time. So, we actually get the client approved, and however that, the dealership that they were working with, it just, somebody ends up selling it. So what I usually tell the client is like, rather than, let's get you approved now for, like, let's say the highest limit that you'd possibly think of, because it's once we have an approval for you, it's easy for us to turn around and, switch that piece of equipment. So it'd kind of be, I guess it'd be the same as if, if they're going to the actual auction itself. Once they, have the piece of equipment, set that they're looking for, then at that point, the finance company will cut the check for them.
And so, because with the auction companies, so let's say you're pre-approved, you win at the auction company, because the auction company only give you like a certain amount of days, like maximum 2 or 3 days or a week, or so once we get the piece of equipment, we want it, that we're pre-approved. Is the process fast as far as getting the funds?
Yeah, no, definitely it's fast. I mean, I've seen financing. I've had, not specifically for equipment, but I mean for just, let's say a bridge loan, just for example, it's somebody, is working on another form of financing that could take, 7 days or so. I've somebody's calling me at 8 in the morning and I've had $100,000 wired into their account by the end of the business day. And, they can turn around and use that other financing to pay that, whatever it is, if they needed a bridge in the meantime.
Okay. Well, that's, definitely, because, we as the hunters, we're always advising our clients, as far as, we're not just pushing, certain types of inventories or certain types of consignments, we show them everything that's on the market. And ultimately, once they pick what's the best option for them, then it would be about, having the funds available ready and quick, because from 1 minute to the next, the good deals
it's
fly,
gone, right? I don't do too much in regards to the auctions. I know you guys specialize in that, but I've had a lot of clients in the past come to me, hey, I found this great deal. I mean, kind of like how how we would look for equipment. They're basically their own machinery hunter. They're finding the equipment and they're like, I need $50,000, by tomorrow. Can you do that for me? I found this piece of equipment that's worth $100,000, and we're able to do that bridge type financing when that's the case, and they just need it right then and there. So.
Okay, yeah, well, that's definitely good to know. Now, when you talk about these bridge loans, is that different from like the long term? So there's all different types of loans, long term, short term, like bridge loans, So how do these work? What are the different types maybe available? The most common ones?
Well, I mean, equipment financing, typically it's going out like 4 to 7 years, or less. In regards to, let's say SBA Express loan for somebody generating revenue for their company, been in business for at least 2 years, they're looking at up to 10 years for something like that. No prepayment penalties. Bridge loans are typically, they're not really credit based. They're more revenue based upon their business. So if that's and the term is usually 24 months or less. So it's fast money. Like I said, you can call in the morning, have $100,000 in your account within 24 hours, and you have usually 24 months or less to pay it back. So I mean, it works out a lot for people who are, like I said, that example of somebody finding a piece of a great deal, and just it's something that they can't pass by. Or if we're doing something like an SBA Express loan, and they don't want to wait for let's say 30 days out, SBA takes a little bit of time. They can do the bridge type funding, and when they get the SBA loan, they can turn around and pay the short-term stuff off, bridge loan.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So now have you dealt with clients that maybe have done a loan? I'm not sure if this is possible, because we have a lot of international clients, Mexico, Latin America, from all over. And so but a lot of the clients, especially along the border here, Mexico or Canada, that buy through us. And so if let's say they have an American company and they do a loan, they get a piece of equipment. Now that equipment cannot leave the country until the loan's paid off, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm assuming it's, I'm assuming it would be the equipment wouldn't be able to leave the country until the loan's paid. Well, I mean, either way, I guess it wouldn't really matter, because I mean, ultimately, it's not like you're still responsible for the loan. I know we can't lend. You obviously have to have a U.S. based company, but I've never seen a case to where the lender's asking where the piece of equipment is. Yeah, so I've never seen that once. So it's kind of the same thing with, let's just say, SBA. SBA has certain guidelines in regards to what companies can use the funds for. But I ultimately tell the clients, it's like, hey, you know what, once you have the funds, it's like, it's your choice. Like one of the kind of the SBA doesn't want people to use the money for any construction. It's like, it's obviously that's something a lot of companies want to use it for, to increase business. So I usually say just don't bring that up. And once it funds, I mean, obviously you're doing what you do. So I particularly probably wouldn't mention that to the finance company when we're working on the deal, getting it done, that we were taking out of state. But I've never, I mean, as long as you're making the payments, obviously if you stop making your payments, you defaulted on it, they're going to be looking for the equipment in the wrong country. But hey.
Yeah.
So
okay, well, it's good to know, to inform. There's
right.
companies that there's now more and more. There's more international companies, right. So it's the borders start to really fade away from us, and that's kind of how we see definitely. It. We don't really. Doesn't matter where our clients from. We get demand, we find them, and we make sure it gets to wherever they're at. So
yeah, no, definitely. I'm sure there would have to be a niche. I'm sure a good percentage. I mean, I'm in San Diego. I've done financing deals here. All in Texas. A lot of border states. I'm sure a good percentage of those people with financed equipment are sending it across the border. I've never had that question come up, or I've never had a lender ask us that at all. So I'm assuming it would be fine. And I'm sure if we really wanted to dig deep into it, I'm sure there's niche products specifically for that, since that's obviously what a lot of people are doing, is sending it elsewhere, the equipment.
Yeah, definitely. Very good, Daniel. Well, is there anything? I mean, I think we've gone over. I mean, I've received a lot of information that I didn't know about. Is there any other information out there that you would like, that would be relevant right now for the heavy equipment world, or for the clients out there, the people out there that are on the fence maybe about looking into lending? What kind of recommendation you have to start to close this off, and to like leave them with the last message about what we can do for them?
Yeah, definitely. If you're looking to purchase any equipment, and you have the reserve set aside, or if you possibly would want to look into financing, now is definitely a time. There's a ton of great deals out there. The companies that have been affected, a lot of times they're selling that equipment right now, for 10, 20 cents on the dollar. So if you can find that deal, you definitely, even if you don't have the reserves, come to somebody like myself and find it. If you're looking for equipment, that's what Machinery Hunters is for. I mean, we're here to help you find that great deal that you're looking for. So other than that, that's that's pretty much it. I mean, hopefully within like a month or two, this whole mess will be behind us, and everyone will be back rocking and rolling. The economy will be great again. So.
Well, you just said it, now is the time. Now is the time that, especially, I would have assumed that with the economy the way it is, I would assume that the lending would have been, closing down right now. But ultimately, that's what ultimately, the deals are here. There's awesome deals right now. We've been seeing, 70, 80% reduction in prices, and just so much opportunity. But also the lending is strong, and the possibilities to get these opportunities is, we're seeing prices that we haven't seen in, decades or ever before, so and ultimately, what you've been talking about as far as, the time, the speed of being able to do these transactions, like you're saying, the availability of making sure that you get the best deal, the best rates, the best terms, depending on the situation of the client. So that's ultimately, I find very beneficial for someone that's looking for it to go to professionals like yourself. And ultimately, this is it's the full deal here. You get the specialist, you get both. We're a team here. This is a network. So if you're reaching out to Daniel, if you're reaching out to me, or to one of the hunters, ultimately, if you're looking for lending, we're gonna push you here to Daniel. He's the guy. for the hunters that will be doing all the sourcing for the lending. And so you know you're in good hands, because ultimately on both sides, that's our motto. You know, we're looking to find you not just a certain deal that's weighs on one side more opportunity than the other. No, we're looking to take care of the client, making sure they get the right piece of equipment, the right price, the right lending, and the timing and everything, the logistics is taken care of. So that no matter where they're at, no matter where the equipment's at, everything gets done in a timely fashion and ultimately an economical fashion. You know, that's what we're looking here for. So so that's why I'm glad, you know, you're on the team, Daniel, and that we're going to start right now. We're taking the opportunity to really get out there and connect with the auctions, with the dealers, with the individual equipment lenders, the equipment sellers and buyers, to ultimately start connecting, you know, our resources, the lending resources, to ultimately start to create. We've already created a movement. Our online social network has been growing fast every single day, where it keeps growing and growing. So ultimately, that's what we want to get this message out there. So I'm going to leave up here, probably the top part or the bottom part. You're going to be able to see, depending where you're at. You're going to have Daniel's information, his direct information. So make sure any equipment concerns, whatever it is, if you're looking to buy or sell, or you need to lend, or whatever it is, make sure you reach out to Daniel. I'm going to leave all his business information. I'm going to leave so you can get a hold of his website, wherever it is. Make the call, because right now is the time to innovate and to connect. Right now is the best time to really leverage the opportunities that are occurring right now. Even always in the midst of the storms, there's always opportunity. That's when great businesses rise. So, or when businesses reinvent themselves. They reinvent themselves, and as we come out of the COVID situation, then we're going to be faced with the economical situation that ultimately, that we're never going back to how we were. You know, the consumers after this is changing forever. So this is the time to really, and that's why we're also getting out there, connecting and innovating, because this service is something very unique, and we're very into, we're passionate about this industry. So we'll leave the information. Make sure, once again, please leave your comments below wherever you're watching from us. If you're in Mexico, Latin America, Canada, USA, wherever you're at, leave your comments below. Share this, please share this. Give us likes, inbox us. Make sure, give us a call. We'll leave the numbers. You know, we're available. We're mobile right now. You know, I'm here in my mobile office. Daniel's in his, as you can see in the background, he's at his home office. But ultimately, we're here 24/7 for you guys, for your audience, wherever you guys are at. We love to hear from you. Love to connect. That's our mission, to ultimately connect, contribute with the community, the hunters community. So thank you. I appreciate it, Daniel. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you giving this information, and we're going to make sure that this message gets out there, and we connect and get this value into the hands of the market, of the heavy equipment market, of the people in need of this financing. So, and like I said, and it's not just heavy equipment, right, Daniel? So I mean, it's
every commercial buildings, equipment lease back. You know, like I said, you know, that's hot right now. That's actually a really hot product with this market. So equipment lease back, if you have equipment and you're looking to, you know, use that as collateral for funding, regardless of credit, I mean, you can get the value of 50%. So definitely not based on credit whatsoever. So.
Awesome, brother. Sounds good. Well, thank you all, machinery hunters from wherever you're at. Thank you for watching this. Thank you, Daniel Diaz, for being part of this hunters episode. And we're going to be bringing a lot. We're going to be inviting. You know, if you're watching this and you are an auctioneer, if you are a dealer, make sure you connect with Daniel or myself. You know, we can do these type of interviews to ultimately get your value out into the market. If you're in the heavy equipment market, make sure you connect with us. We're going to be having a lot of guests on this show to ultimately bring you the most value, so that you are able to make 2020 with the hunters the most intelligent, the most analytical purchases, and you buy smart, using resources like the Hunters, like small business lending stores with Daniel, we're here for you. So thanks a lot, Daniel. You have a great day. Everyone out there, have a great day, and let the hunting begin, brothers.
Thank you.
Have a good one.